This is the router table that I'm replacing. As you can see, it's a table on the stand. I didn't do a whole lot of work to get this up and going back in the day. It's got the Rockler, just standard router lift with the Bosch router in it. I put some pegboard on the side to hang some of the accessories and things with it. So I'm excited to get the cabinet finished, to get this top mounted to it, so I can get it in its place here and start using it. So anyway, this is the one that's being replaced with the new cabinet, and I think it'll be a whole lot better once I get it all done. I cut the parts out on the CNC. I wanted to use that to make some cabinet parts, so I thought this would be a good test. So this is the first cabinet carcass that I've made using the CNC. I used wood glue and screws to hold this together, basically following the Abram's plans for this, even though I adjusted the size to fit the Rockler table that I already have. It ended up being a little wider than the Rockler table, because the Rockler table has rounded corners, so the cabinet sticks out a little bit. So really this is just a bunch of assembly. Again, I just glue and screw everything together as much as I can. It was a little weird putting this together without the sides on it, but you'll see the reason I left the sides off, and the plans tell you to, so you can put the plywood drawer runners on before you attach the sides of the cabinet. And here, I just use a spacer to space out the runners. And I left it proud of the front of the divider there because of the 3/4 inch trim that's going to go on the front to cover the edge of the plywood. Sorry about the camera angle here. I didn't think about adjusting it, but this is where I'm attaching the sides. I didn't get really any footage of the CNC cutting the cabinet parts out. I didn't think I needed to make this video any longer by adding that in there. Most people know how a CNC cuts. And this is got all the sides on. Now I'm adding on these pieces that keep the drawer from tipping out. The top left of this is a full 4-inch or so deep drawer. Now we're adding the port for the dust collection from the router area. So it's just a standard 4-inch dust port that I got from Rockler. Easy to put in, nothing to it. Now doing the dust collection inside where the router's at, kind of making a little ramp so that it will direct any of the chips from the router down to the bottom and then funnel it into the dust port. I didn't want to run any brad nails through the back of that. I was afraid that it might cause it to crack. Then we added the casters, or I added the casters, so we can get it mobile, easier to work on. These were just casters I got from Amazon. Then I could start on the trim to cover the edge of the plywood on the front. So getting that all cut to size. Started installing it. I just glued and brad nail. Taking my time, make sure everything's even, flush. I really like having the cordless DeWalt brad nailer. It's been really nice to not have that hose on the pneumatic one. Here's the drawers for the bits. It's just a 3/4 inch piece of plywood. I used the CNC to cut all the holes for the router bits. Then add on a 1/4 inch piece of Baltic birch plywood on the bottom. And then add the front. Just used wood glue and then a little bit of CA glue to hold it in place while the glue dried. Worked really well. I do that quite a bit with things. And now we just assembled all the drawers. I adjusted the plans on this to be a little bit taller than what is in Norm's original plan, and it's a little bit narrower. So making it taller, I was able to add 2 additional drawers in the bottom. So I have 5 drawers instead of the 3, which you'll see in the final shot. This is just a stopper to add to hold the false front that goes on where the electric cords run. And I took the false front and actually lasered my logo on the front of it. Then I installed drawers. Pretty standard way of installing drawers. There's the lasering of my logo. Obviously this is At about 1,200 times the speed that this thing really lasered. And again, the CA glue trick, just a little wood glue, a little CA glue, stuck it in there, holds it in place while it dries. Now on to making the door. I had a piece of hickory that gave me just enough to make the door frame. So I used that for the door frame. Cut all the pieces down to size. Then we'll head over to the router table. And then for the panel inside the door, I just used a 1/4 inch piece of Baltic birch. I don't like the coping sled that I had. I just clamped it to a board and ran it through. Done a fine job for the door for this router table. Checking the fit of all the pieces before I finish the others. I really enjoy making doors. I don't do it all that much. I'm not that good at it, but I like to make them. Hopefully I do some projects where I can make some more. A little bit of glue on the frame, trying to keep it off the panel because I don't want the panel to be glued in so it can move around a little bit. It's just a simple shaker style door. I love shaker style furniture. So clamped that up, moved on to the next thing, which was installing the drawer pulls. Which you see here, I already have the door mounted in there. This was the next day, I believe. And I didn't put a finish on the drawers or the door yet because I'm trying to decide if I want to do a collar of some sort or paint them, or because a couple of the drawer fronts had quite a bit of chip out on the veneer of the plywood. So I didn't think just putting a clear finish would look very good. Putting the holes in the door for the for airflow. That finished up the door. I just put a wipe-on poly on most of it. I'm using what I have on hand instead of buying something different. Just trying to use up the things I have on hand at the moment. I think I rubbed 2 coats on it. And here I laid the top on, trying to get it all lined up. You can see the corners where it doesn't completely cover them. But I didn't want to make the cabinet any narrower for it to be completely under the tabletop, and I'm looking to maybe do a different top in the future. I'd like to do a cast iron top, but I don't know if there's any that are wide enough. I'll probably have to end up making my own and putting the router lift in it, which will be okay too. So I just made sure everything was even again after clamping it down. I didn't get any footage of how I mounted it. I didn't permanently mount the top to the cabinet. I just put some blocks underneath that were against the sides, like the dividers, to keep it from moving. So the weight of the top holds it down. I'm able to lift it off if I need to. Now I'm installing the switch, running the power cables inside. It's really pretty much done at this point, just trying to route the cables, and we'll hook up some dust collection. The router that's in there, the Bosch router that's mounted in there, is old. I think it was 2004 or 2006 or something that it was bought. So I might change it. I had a piece of this Rockler, blue Rockler hose that I thought I'd try on here, and I didn't really like it. It's the hose that retracts, and it caught on the edge of the table, so I ended up changing it, which you'll see in this final shot of everything. And this is pretty much done. And I'll just kind of show you the drawers, and you can see that I didn't put any finish on the drawers or the door. Again, I might do some color on them or something, or I might remake the fronts out of hardwood. I don't know. It works fine, and I don't really see any reason to redo anything. Just use up more material. Everything slides in and out really easy. I didn't use any drawer slides on anything on the top because I didn't want to take up the space, and the wood runners works fine. I was really happy with this plan. I think everything works really well. I was able to clean up a lot of stuff in the shop, that router related, things that are just stored all over or sitting out. I was able to get it into the router table.